Hey there, no need to adjust your team.
Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is, did I do the H right? OH, okay. And this is the Ramsey Show After Show. Welcome. We have a new month. Happy February to everybody. And the audio is working, which is good. Right. If you're not familiar with me, I'm not just a guy on YouTube, I'm also a certified Ramsey Solutions financial coach. And you can schedule an appointment with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That link is in the ticker, also in the video description below. Calendly.com. Like calendar, but instead of the AR at the end, it's LY. And for my other financial content, you're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. You just scroll down the Oak Island playlist. And the reason that is first is if you can see the recap from the last show, 4.4 thousand views. And so the financial content is not there at that level yet, as you can also see. But you'll see if you scroll past the Oak Island playlist, definitely watch both for sure. The Ramsey Show After Show and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist as well. So hours upon hours upon hours of me telling people they're doing it wrong. The music playlist, including such hits as "And That's What Gives Financial Peace," "That's What Gives Financial Peace," and "How to Do the Baby Steps Right." So listen to those if you are so inclined. Market report. Beep, 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 doo. As you can see, it's a Dow Jones futures plunge at 650 points. Did it really? Oh, boom. Where's the futures? And now it's back up again in the futures. So always in motion are the futures. Yoda must have been a stock market expert as well, which you can be an expert at many things when you are a master of the force. Let's check S&P 500 today, see what it looked like. Open up way lower, and it's, these tariffs, and other countries are saying, well, fine. If you're going to charge us tariffs, we're going to not sell those items in our country then. How about that? And so that is going to happen. And so you saw it didn't get back up came back up a little bit because it went down here, and somebody or a bunch of people were like, oh yeah, that's way too low. That's way too low for the S&P 500. So this is majorly on sale. So I'm buying, and I'm buying and buying. And so it got back up there. So, so like Alanis Morissette says, what does she say? Everything's gonna be fine, fine, fine. Let's see what the rest of the planet did. Everything down in Europe and Asia as well. So no problems there. As far as we're not the only one. We're not the only ones whose stock market was down today. No, that was pretty good. The currencies, the euros up against the US dollar, yen up against the US dollar, the British pound love up against the US dollar, Canadian dollar up against the US dollar as well, and the Australian dollar said, "Nar, you can't be higher than us, United States," and so it's a clean sweep for the rest of the world. Did that just change? It did change, but no, US dollar still down. What else do we have here? Again, the futures, Dow up, and S&P and NASDAQ down a bit, and we'll see who is bad day to report for Palantir. That is a pharmaceutical company. Let's see what happened. Up 1.52 and up 22.48% in the after hours trading after they announced. So I guess they made more money than was expected. Company posts strong earnings and outlook. And so that is the key. You can't just say, oh, yeah, we made more than people thought. And guess what? We're going to make even more in the next quarter. And so if you don't say both of those things, it could go either way after a good report for the past quarter. But if you're not that jazzed about the next quarter, a stock could go down even though you met expectations the previous month. We got Alphabet. That is your Google and your YouTube owner. And so much luck to them for tomorrow. They are reporting tomorrow. Also AMD chip manufacturer. And on Wednesday, the 5th, that would be Uber. And on the 6th, Eli Lilly, also pharmaceuticals. I thought there was one. Yeah, Meta somehow up 1.2% today, while all the other most followed single stocks on the Google were down. And I think that's that for the market report. Let's see what we got here from Fox Business. Verizon clears $10 million in debt for North Carolina residents impacted by Hurricane Helene. And so I found out that that is through ForgiveCo. And they have right on their page, just taking a look at it. Our services centered around random acts of kindness for individuals in financial hardship. The selection of beneficiaries is based on specific criteria determined by our brand partners. So, like for example, Fox Business is one of those. Oh no, that's featured. It doesn't say which ones are. Probably some of those, some recent partnerships. Apparently Verizon is one of them though, and they said, yep, here's the 10 and this is who we want to give it to. And I guess the ForgiveCo acts as a go-between for that purpose. So, but like for example, we cannot wipe out accounts for individuals by request. And so yeah, a lot of people contact them apparently all the time and saying, yeah, where can I put my request in? What else do we have? We have a 21-inch pizza from a local restaurant, and I believe this is a one location thing. And it was, and normally I wouldn't be getting anything like that. I would be going with the Domino's for $7.99. This is, again, a 21-inch one topping, and it was about, I feel like it was like $18 or something like that. And instead of doing that, for that same amount of money, I could get 2 large Domino's. So probably wouldn't do that. It was good. It was very good. I opened it and I thought, hey, why they shortened me on pepperoni? But that one's your clue right there. It's actually under the cheese, and so it's been a long time since I've heard about that one. And I got my drink today, and it's not making any noise. Got my lovely drink from the Ohio State University Hospitals, and that's a fine souvenir. I can't remember if that was from my diabetes. What's it called when they dementia setting in? What's it called when they diagnosis? I was gonna say, what's it called when they tell you what's wrong with you? My diabetes diagnosis 20 years ago was that, and so I'm still kicking here. Or either it was from 10 years ago, had just a little baby heart attack, and so that's what that is from. So I'm still ticking. I don't wanna be like leaving a gap in people that annoy you or anything like that. I'll be sticking around just for spite. Spite can keep you alive, for sure. And it's a good reason as any. What up, Sid? What up, Die? Yeah, so, and I spaced them out pretty well. 10 years in between the diabetes and the baby heart attack. Just needed a stent and it was all fine. Diabetes wasn't crazy either. Had to be on insulin, I think 3 weeks before I like leveled out and was fine. And didn't have to do shots anymore either. So just oral medication and not eating like crap and eating a lot of cereal and other things that contain a bunch of sugar. Of course, the carbs, of course, do change into sugar. But how you do that, you don't eat the whole thing at one time or even in one day. Saturnians don't dream, okay? Never met anybody from Saturn. Wouldn't it be Saturnites would be better? I don't know. IRA and 401k here. Hi, guys. I've been following the show recently and gained some great free knowledge about all sorts of financial matters. I might have done this one already. My biggest concern isn't debt, but retirement. Okay. Friend of mine suggested Roth IRA, and I wasn't sure if I should look at it. That's the whole thing. Look into it. That's what people love to say. A lot of wonderful people checking into all sorts of things. Now that I want to know how to make the numbers prove the value. First, I think my household combined income is too high. Oh yeah, I did do this one. Yeah, because you'd have to do the backdoor Roth, and again the priority order for investing would be a match. If your employer gives you a match, yes, you take that because that's 100% rate of return on that. So definitely you take that, and then next you would take any kind of Roth account, and because that's a lot less taxes, a lot fewer taxes, because if you spend any appreciable amount of time in the market at all, you are having way more growth than you have on the contributions. And so, not having to pay taxes on the disbursements from the Roth IRA, that seems like that could help in retirement and make retirement easier. But basically, the problem was about maxing it out going forward. You should not do higher than 15% of gross income until the house is paid off, though. So yeah, I didn't remember that username, but yeah, I did that one already. Did I do this one? Carlin almost paid off. Hi all, hi guys. Post is basically what it says. Okay. Unfortunately, my car was in an accident 2021. I was not the driver. It's a long story that took a while to get over. Okay. But long story short, too late already. Insurance didn't cover it. Great. Okay. That car paid off. It was okay. I think I did that one too. Sorry. Had no debt except for a mortgage. 2021 was nightmare time to buy a car. Prices on used car in my area were almost the cost of a new car. I'm going to go ahead and say probably some dramatic exaggeration there. as people like to do. And also they limit themselves on what cars they would be willing to buy. And so, that can happen if you are too picky. Um, Put $100 each pay into an account, and is that to buy a car? Baby step 2 flare. You should buy as cheap a car as possible. You do want it to work though, so definitely have your mechanic check it out. Do not trust the dealer mechanic or the seller mechanic, and leave out the dealer entirely for the best deal. Sinking funds accounts for gifts, property taxes, kid college. Property taxes, yes. On baby step 2, you got to chill out on the gifts. But what was the question here? The car loan almost paid off. It was almost paid off. I guess you want to keep it, and so you can do that. Otherwise, you could sell it. Looking for. I never want to take a loan on again. Great. Don't then. Don't let it be an option. That's part of baby step 0. Anyway, just kind of sharing now. Okay, that's fine. Love that AI found Dave Ramsey's material and some other good financial gurus. Great. Most other ones are fine with debt leverage though, so gotta be careful pulling from too many different financial advisors, because they tend to work against each other if they aren't similar advice. Okay, mortgage payment deferral from Green Rock 7. This one's probably new. What up, Milas? Or, again, as they say across the pond, Mealer. Mortgage payment deferral. My bank, you own a bank, has offered me a 1-month payment deferral on my mortgage. That makes you have the mortgage longer, theoretically. It makes them more money. They're not just offering that to help you out. Banks are not a nonprofit. Banks are in the business of making money. And so if they offer you something, that's benefiting them more than it benefits you. Whilst I do not have any issues making timely full payments, they have significantly increased between 21 and 2023 due to out of control interest rate hikes. They've gone up the same for everybody. So you're not an exception to that. My mortgage payment comes out first from each month's salary. Okay, so if it's a tight month for any reason, my monthly fixed obligations do not suffer. And that's exactly what you should do. That's called being intentional. That's in your budget. That rent would be one of the first things. That being said, or mortgage payment rather than rent in this case. That being said, 1 month's mortgage payments would go a long way to free up some cash to perform immediate repairs on my vehicle. Are they needed repairs? Like, is it just looks wise? What's that called? If it's just for looks wise, cosmetic? Is it cosmetic stuff? Then that's a no on baby step 2. You just drive it. Oh, currently not roadworthy. Okay, but continues to be used since public transport is not reliable nor readily accessible where I live, nor the times I would need it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to ask. Currently, it's not roadworthy, but I am still using it. So apparently, it can still drive and get you from A to B, is what I'm guessing. So this is where I love to challenge people I'm coaching or anybody I'm talking to about any kind of financial thing. Because they can always do something that would make it a little bit better for them, and of course that's doing more things towards the Ramsey advice than whatever way they are doing it. Where are we? It wouldn't make sense to do monthly small repairs until I get everything fixed. as most of it is related and should be fixed at the same time. I get that because, you know, they would have to take it apart to a certain level maybe, and all the stuff are at a certain level. All the stuff that needs to be fixed is there. Sure, I get it. But if it's working now, that's what I want to know. I want to know exactly what the situation is, because some people will exaggerate problems in order to do just what they want to do when they know they shouldn't. Otherwise, it wouldn't be putting a comment in here. Green Rock 7. I should be able to contribute additional payments against the principal of my mortgage going forward to mitigate any increase in interest. Yeah, should be. For the one-time deferral, should I take it? No. And or are there other things I should be aware of? Nope. Unless you're telling me you're using it now and it's dangerous for you to be using it now, like it could explode or something like that, or just completely stop working. So I need to know the level of the problem there. Otherwise, you would cut out some other crap you're spending money on, and then to pay for the to save up for the payments faster. The bank's T&Cs only mention a nominal processing fee to take up this offer. Yeah, and that's more debt. And baby step 0, part of that is where you decide you're going to pay off your dumb debt and you're not going to take on any more. That processing fee gets added to your freaking mortgage. So that's more debt. So that's a nay. I mean, it's basically the same as a HELOC. Not to mention performing these repairs on my vehicle. Justification station here would go a long way to extend the useful life of and hopefully mitigate any inclination to purchase a new vehicle, a sentiment that I continue to fight against. Yeah, all of this stuff is dumb and justification station. And so, again, I certainly respect anybody's decision to do whatever they want to do with their life and their money. But you know what the advice is, but you posting it in the Dave Ramsey subreddit. So if you were that convinced that you were right, you would have just done it instead of trying to get somebody to agree with you about that. But again, not enough information. I need to know exactly what's wrong with it. How many? 27? Let's find out if he said exactly what's wrong with it. Let's find out. I'll bite. Only 27. Person says take the deferral. Why isn't your loan a fixed rate? Good question. Didn't think about that. Doing it wrong. Don't do deferments. And we may not have additional. There we go. Not located in the United States. Yeah. Okay. Not saying what's wrong with it. Still not saying what's wrong with it. And so without that information, I'm not just okay in that. And like I said, you don't do that. Instead, you cut out something else. You sacrifice by eating out if you're eating out. Just looking. About 5 years in, I'm not certain on what the blend of interest versus principal is. Okay, and off topic now, but that's going to happen on the internet. People are going to get in the weeds about the interest rate not being variable on the mortgage, and so obviously that's not what Dave recommends, but that doesn't answer the question about the deferment. One-time processing fee that equals about 4% of my monthly payment. Yeah, that's more debt. Sounds like adjustable rate mortgage. I don't think anything would have foreseen it jumping from 6.5 to 9.5 when in the 1 year period. Yeah, doesn't matter though. The advice is to not do that, just for that exact reason, to do fixed rate mortgage and also 15 years. But who knows? Who knows? In whatever country this is, they do it different in different countries for some reason. They don't like to take our example and everything. Bow, 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 bow. Mila has saluted me. So it says the frame may be bent or there may be some other damage making it not street legal, right? And so theoretically, if it's not street legal, it's also not that safe to be driving. And so that's another story. But again, debt should be the last option. You should cut out some other spending in order to save up for that faster. Fee prudent for 5743. Should I be contributing to 403B? Probably if you want to retire at some point. On baby step 2, though, that would be a nar. Hi guys, just got started on the Dave Ramsey baby step 2 and have seen mixed things on investments. Not from Mr. Ramsey, you haven't. I have a matching program at work. When I put 4% in, they put in 10.5%. That's fabulous. Too bad you can't do that until you get to step 4. Would it be foolish to be missing out on that 10.5%? No, it would not, because you need to get out of your dumb debt first before you start investing. So, 13 comments. I'm sure, I bet over half of them said did not do that, but that's not Ramsey advice to not forego that. So, but that's not how the baby steps work. It's baby steps 1, 2, and 3 in order, one at a time. So you don't do higher steps at all. And this doesn't change it. Even if does not change the Ramsey advice. So you would have not only have all the debt paid off, but then also have the full emergency fund, and then you start investing. And if you don't like it, you can certainly do your own thing. You're the one that started the baby steps. I mean, theoretically, you would have looked at the list and been fine with it to start them. So, but as far as mixed things, I'm sure a bunch of people, that do debt leverage and all that other kind of stuff, that don't follow Dave's advice, I'm sure they would like you to do that. And they would recommend you not forego the free money, because that's what it is. It is free money, but you don't do that while you're trying to take care of your debt as fast as possible and set yourself up as doing good habits. Getting in the habit of doing good financial things. Sunny cup of coffee. College student needs advice. All right. Let's see about what. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. I'm a freshman at a private college. Private college is not recommended unless it's free. That cost me $23K this year after $20K in scholarship. So $43K. And that's why private colleges are not advised unless you get a full ride. Meaning it's all free to you. I'm on the women's wrestling team. Congratulations. I'll be nice then so you don't beat me up. With a scholarship, which is why I chose such an expensive college 3 hours from home. And that shouldn't, great, you want to be on the wrestling team. Not great that you are going to a private college in order to do that. So here's what you could have done. You could have gone to a closer, cheaper college, cheaper than the $23K per year, and not gotten a scholarship. and you'd be in the exact same place. Let's see, I'm studying business administration, human resources, and might add a business analytics minor. All right. Have $1,200 in savings and $6,800 left to pay on my car. All right, so debt. And this, kids, is why we, as young adults, as teenagers, and early 20s, until you graduate college, that's why you just pile up cash so you can buy a car cash instead of having it locked up in some kind of retirement account. My dad bought it, but I make the payments, which are minimum $200 a month. My budget is as follows. Weekly pay is $110 to $180. Car payment is $50. Maybe it was a used car, but all that was wrong as well. Dad shouldn't have loaned the money or bought it for you, and you make payments for him. I mean, maybe he, I don't know if he got a loan for it or if he paid cash for it and is just letting you make payments to him, but that's not advised, of course. $50 goes to savings, $25 to gas. You would not do that. You would not have extra savings. You would have $1,000 emergency fund and no extra savings every week. That money would be going to pay off that car debt if that's the only debt you have. Gas $20, tithes $5 to $10. Medical debt, so more debt then, $20 monthly, and maybe that's a payment directly to the medical facility. Work as a barista, so I make tips. I usually save those up and pay with them for gas or tithes. So I have extra gas money left over usually. So those need to be. I guess that's why the differential there between the 110 and 180. That's maybe regular and then tips included. At the end of the month, I use my rollover to put on the next month's car payment. Okay, so that part's good. A few questions. Okay, should I stop saving and put all my money on the car? Yes. Assuming you have $1,000 emergency fund. Apparently, you're living away from home, and so I'm assuming 3 hours away. And you have that car there that could run into problems. Anything else? So yeah, you would have $1,000 emergency fund to keep you from doing other debt, and then you would be paying off the car or the medical debt, whichever's. Doesn't say how much it owes on the. Oh, $6,800. Yeah, so you would be. Depends on what the medical debt was, whether you continue to do that monthly. I mean, if you worked that out with the medical facility, I guess that's fine. But the idea is to pay it off as quickly as possible. All your debt. That is step 2, after all. Does any business person know of a degree that might be better to pursue than HR? So I don't know anything about that. And of course, that's not going to be the same for you as it will be for anybody else. Maybe it might not work out for you where it would work out for somebody else. You can't know. So that's the kind of thing you can't really ask questions on Reddit for that particular thing, because that could be great and exactly what somebody else should do, but you shouldn't, or vice versa. What are problems you see with my budget? Not crazy. It's just you need to first have an emergency fund if you don't already, and if you already have the $1,000 emergency fund, then you should be making debt payments. Also, you would be cash flowing that rest of the school. So you got plenty of problems here, and I would tell this fine young lady to consider transferring maybe to somewhere back near a support system at home. because it would be cheaper. Like I said, you could still wrestle without a scholarship at a college that only costs 23 total. And so I get it. They give you the scholarship, and that's a big thing. Like, we want you. We will pay for some of your college if you are on our wrestling team. So I get that. But just trying to do the best thing for your life. At this rate, I graduate with almost 100K in debt. So you are putting yourself in a situation where you are accepting the debt and you're going to do it. And so, need advice? The advice is not to do any of the stuff that you're doing with this current collegiate path here. Would be the Ramsey advice, because don't know how familiar you are with Mr. Ramsey, but he's the no debt guy. And this is always good for people. So I plan to live with my parents when I graduate and drive my 2012 until the wheels fall off, and that's justification station for keeping the car. Could sell the car. Maybe you don't need a car. If you live on the campus, maybe you don't need a car. So you just got to think out of the box every so often for things like this. But I'm going to drive it to the ground, until the wheels fall off, and justification station for keeping it. Also, if you're wondering how I don't spend any money on toiletries, my parents bought me bulk stuff before the school. That's thoughtful of them. And I invested in a lot of reusable products over the years. Okay, great. Reusable toiletries don't sound that great to me, but my name is Paul, and that's between y'all. Yep, they're trying to not let Sid have the bag, is what they're doing. Derek Yu, 1967, removing old closed in good standing accounts from credit reports. Or credit report. If they're closed and they're not reporting anymore, I don't know why they would still continue to be on there. Hello, Dave Ramsey sub. My wife and I are currently in baby step 6. Congratulations. With a debt-free stream in Madison, Tennessee with Dave. Back in December of 2013, after paying off $740,000. Are you sure that's not Franklin, Tennessee? If he did it at Ramsey headquarters? Paying off $740,000 of consumer debt. A lot of student loans, probably. One of the things that's bothered me since that time is that there are 2 creditors on all 3 credit bureau reports who refuse to fall off. Okay, and it's great that you're in baby step 6, so you just have to pay off your house, and then you're in step 7. It doesn't matter what your credit score says, your credit report says. Doesn't matter. They were closed in 2007, so let's do the math here. That's 18 years ago. And so why they wouldn't fall off when no longer being reported, I don't know. When I've mentioned this in other subs, I've received the typical good debt nonsense responses, right? Nonsense responses, right? You don't want to remove good creditors because that's helping your credit score. Derp. Right, exactly. So I want to know why you care about it anyway. What is it being on there still keeping you from doing? If it shows a 0 balance, what is it keeping you from doing? Anyway, I know it's a minor administrative thing, but the accounts were closed 20 years ago. Did you call somebody there at whatever companies, whatever bureaus reports? Oh, it's on all 3 of them. Yeah, have you called anybody to ask them what you can do about that? That's what I would do. It's like a couple of toxic ex-girlfriends keeping my phone number over dramatic. Leave me the hell alone. Yeah. I've filed disputes with all three bureaus. That would seem like, and they're as useless as you'd expect. Yeah. So you can't change it. Apparently. If it matters, these are the two things. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter what they are. If anyone has advice, I'd like to hear it. I mean, you filed disputes. Did you say it with all three? Bum, 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 bum. What are you saying? Filed disputes with all three. Okay, with all three. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I got no clue. As far as what you can do about that, then you could Google it and see. What do you do when a dispute doesn't work for a mistake on a... I mean, it's not a mistake. You did have it open, and so if they want to put it on there, they can. But how does it affect your life other than you don't like it? Mamba mentality. I mean, if you don't want anybody pulling your credit report and seeing that, you can just freeze your credit. If anybody asks you why you said to freeze your credit, is a reason that you should do it already, which would be so to lessen the damage from identity theft. Highly recommended. Freeze your credit score, your credit report. Mamba mentality 24 _8. I guess Mamba mentality _ 1 through 7 were taken. Baby step 4, help. Okay. I would advise to do that for retirement once you get to step 4. Hi there. Hi guys. I'm 22, currently on baby step 2, but very quickly do I plan on being out of that stage. That's great. We'll get out of it instead of being so obsessed with the rest of it. People always want to look ahead, always to the future. They look. Never their mind on where they were, what they are doing. That's Yoda from The Empire Strikes Back. Not just Empire Strikes Back, but it's The Empire Strikes Back, just like it's the State University. It does say that on it. It does. All right, that would be pretty dumb if it didn't. On my part. Now I'm sort of doing a modified version of the baby steps. Oh, great. Not advised. So don't get angry at me. Haha. If you're doing a modified version of it, nobody knows what your modified thing is all about, and you're doing what you want to do. So what are you trying to do here? Get somebody to tell you that, hey, maybe you should follow the baby steps like they are, not modified. Let's see what the dealio is. Oh, I already clicked on it to do that. Haha. I am a very forward thinker, so I'm an exception. And he didn't say the exception thing. And I'm looking to get recommendations from... If you're a forward thinker, think on your own and decide on your own then. You decided on your own to modify the baby steps, right? Or did you ask, should you modify it before as well? So weird, so weird. For my situation, say 6 months from now. I just did say 6 months from now. Because you wrote it and I read it. I am a recent college graduate and just got offered my first full-time job. I plan on also staying at my part-time job at least until June. Bags are approved. That's fine. I'm with you so far. And on track to be debt-free by April. Okay, great. Still with you. This is where I kind of veer off the baby steps. I don't think there's a kind of. Oh, we're doing just a little bit wrong. I've also been putting together my emergency fund and plan on being fully funded by... Yeah, you're doing it wrong. You doing it not in the way it's supposed to be done makes it take longer. You're so dumb. But you can be if you want to be. Apparently you want to be. Knock yourself out. I have enough to pay my loans off right now. but I don't plan on throwing that at debt just because why get rid of an almost complete emergency fund when my debt will be paid off by April? So please don't come at me for that. I'm going to come at you because guess what? That's baby step 2 right there is your debt. Baby step 3 doesn't start until your debt is all bye-bye. Let's see what else we got. What other justification station, stuff like that. Or this is just what I want to do. Then again, why are you saying, don't tell me this, don't tell me that, don't tell me this, but you want to get recommendations though? So you want to have somebody recommend to you what it is that you want to do, I guess. You want to have somebody recommend to you, keep on doing it your dumb way instead of following the proven baby steps. 30 years and millions of documented success stories, and your way has nothing. My issue is I will be getting decent salary bump as to what I'm used to from a part-time job, but it's still not the greatest. It's not like I'm making 6 figures, right? Okay. 55K area that rent is relatively expensive. Yeah. So you're going to be spending too much on apartment living or buying a house there by living in that area and not making enough money to do that? Probably going to do that too. I know financially it's not the best decision, and period. That should be it right there. I know financially it's not the best decision, period. So, and in your mind you think, oh, so I won't do it since it's not the best. But you're going to admit it's the best decision. It's not the best decision, but you're going to do it anyway. You're so stupid. What do they teach you in that college of yours? What's the rest of this crap here? Let's see. Not the best decision, but I to move out and live on my own. Oh, I want to move out and live on my own. Okay, Mr. Ramsey, once you get your big boy job, yeah, and you're an adult, Mr. Ramsey does like you to live on your own, yeah. The problem is that's going to be tough making 55K a year in most areas. Boom. I don't really have much wiggle room in my budget, which kind of makes step 4, 5, and 6 difficult. Well, you're not doing any of it right, so why are you trying to follow steps 4, 5, and 6? I don't really have to worry about kids, right? Single 22-year-old, right? So 5 doesn't happen, but 4 and 6, yes. And you don't have step 6 until you get a mortgage. And you wouldn't get a mortgage if you're doing it the right way until you have your debt paid off, until you have the full emergency fund. And then that's when you start saving the down payment at that point. So 4, 5, and 6, none of that has anything to do with you at this moment. You are looking too far ahead and thinking more about that than the wrong stuff you're doing right now. Single salary, I don't have room for saving for a house, or the luxury of putting 15% of income into retirement. I feel like I would feel stuck. Okay, so when you graduate college, theoretically, you would get a job making more than 55K a year. Right, so something is off there. That, you know, maybe left-handed puppetry degree doesn't pay that well. So I would look into that. Maybe it's just the area you live in is the problem and you got to move. But generally, if they're going to pay more somewhere, the cost of living is also going to be more, though. You got to be careful with that. I know exactly what's going to be said. Stay at home until your salary goes up. No, Mr. Ramsey does not advise that. He does not advise that. So, you know, you're good with me on that. But that's not something I'm interested in once I'm done baby step 3. And I know my income will grow. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the same people that take out student loans and know they're going to graduate. And even if they do graduate, they know that they're going to get a job in their field. That's not necessarily going to happen. And they know how much money they will make. That's not necessarily going to happen either. I don't have plans at being at my current job forever. In fact, it's a goal of mine to move to Florida trying to do just all kinds of stuff. And my current job is outside of Philadelphia. That's a bit of a ways away. I am hoping to make a job in 18 months. Make a job. And college, huh? College graduate. And assume my income will be in the 75 to 80 range. Yeah, you can't assume that. That's so dumb. You would think this would be a troll, but probably not, is the sad thing. So then it won't even be an issue. Yeah, but you can't assume that. But what do I do in the meantime, especially since once you're out of baby step 2, it's supposed to slowly open fun for me. I do feel like I've sacrificed so much. No, you haven't. And I want to budget fund money. But should I do that to sacrifice not investing 15%? No. Everything you're doing here is bad. And so you're not on the baby steps. You're doing whatever it is that you want to do, and good luck to you. Which, I mean, that's fine to do. I support anybody doing what they want to do. Of course, what they should do is the Ramsey advice. But most people won't do that. And so you got to accept that. Melzy Wood. Like Hollywood, but for Melzy. Remote side gig for baby step 2. Hello all. Hi guys. My husband and I are on baby step 2. All we have is all we have. Something like that. Nirvana. All we have in consumer debt is my student loan, $22K. That's plenty. So all we have. Let's see. We are on track with our budget plan to have it completed by March 2026, but I would prefer it to be earlier. Hey, I would rather Last of Us come out before Last of Us season 2 come out before April. And I would rather have Stranger Things season 5 come out before Thanksgiving Day like it's supposed to. I did also see something about it maybe pushed back into 2026 as well. So I would prefer that to happen, but we don't often get things that we would prefer it to be. Now, what you can do is you can stop putting money to things that aren't 100% necessary and apply that money to the loan instead, and then it would get paid off. So you don't have to prefer it. You can do a little thing I call making it happen. Has anyone had any success in getting a remote side gig for the evenings? I have done that kind of thing before, and I do have side gigs. And so you're not limited in any way on that. I mean, if you can think of something to do that you can do at home for a company and they will pay you to do it, you can do that. My husband has a chaotic schedule, sales, and I need to be home after work to give our diabetic cat his insulin. Oh, the poor cat. Poor cat must have it worse than I do, because I don't have to do insulin. My goodness gracious me. There's a lot of scammy job posts. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And if it's anything, if you ever get to a spot in the interview or in the hiring process where they need money from you for a reason, that's a NAR. That is a scam. That is not how hiring works. So wanted to see if anyone has had success with a certain one in particular. No, I couldn't recommend one in particular. I mean, the bigger companies might have more remote gigs available, so like the Amazon, stuff like that. What up, Matty Bags? Hashtag mentioned. And that's from what song is that from? The Baby Steppin' song, which is to the tune of Dua Lipa's Levitating. That's also in that music playlist. Electron Hair. H-A-R-E, like a rabbit. Wabbit season. Understanding this sub's perspective flexibility. I'll read a little bit of this. I mean, it's basically things that don't need to be opposed. You don't have to understand it. It doesn't have to make sense to you. The same thing as the baby steps don't need to make sense to you either. You can just do it or not do it, and then not try to like keep wondering why is his advice like that? Why is his advice like that? Why is advice like that? Not gonna, no matter what anybody says, you're not gonna change your mind. You just want to know why his advice isn't what you want to do. And so this is the same dumb crap for that. And so this subs, I mean, you have people on this sub that don't agree with any of the baby steps, for sure. And they will tell you to get loans, and they'll tell you to invest when you shouldn't be investing yet. So I don't know what the sub's perspective flexibility is. That's so dumb. I've read the frequently asked questions. That might stop a little bit of it, but not all of it. And the general description, and it certainly appears to a lot. Well, you don't have to be the government control agent to make sure that this sub is fine. You don't work for Reddit, so you don't need to do that. Let's see. Certainly appears to allow for open discussions around financial management, budgeting, and debt elimination, with the baby steps as the primary source of guidance. Right? Totally makes sense. Agree. My question I have about the true flexibility is on perspective. I see discussions around a credit card or investing or debt process, and many get shut down and locked with, we do the baby steps. Yeah, that's right. So that means that the advice here by those certain people, including myself, is going to be to follow the baby steps, and we're not going to think outside the box with you, because thinking outside the box is what gets people into trouble. Thinking outside the box does not have the documented track record of the Ramsey advice. So why lock the thread? Okay, that's on the mods. If it gets too contentious, means there's too much arguing back and forth in a thread, they will lock it. And guess what? They can do that because they are the moderators. They basically are the owners of this thread, and in conjunction with the company Reddit, in conjunction with their policy, they are allowed to lock a thread if they want to. See, this is what people, when people are so full of themselves, where they think, oh, well, everything should be like I think it is in my head, and reality has nothing to do with that. The reality of that, it's a company that allows the moderators that started this sub to be able to lock a thread. And so because you don't like that, it doesn't mean anything. You're not the boss of anything. Sorry, you're not involved in it except complaining about it. Baby steps work, so discussing the benefits and reasons for deviations are valuable in my mind. They certainly are. Hey, guess what? Mods can lock it if they don't like the conversation that's going back and forth in the thread. If we are baby steps and that's it, the sub has little value as a quick read of the steps are self-evident. You would think, but no, they're not. If you've read enough threads on here, you know that people don't understand them or don't want to understand them. So you dumb. Stop thinking it's all about what's going on in your head. I know some people can't get behind that, but I've accepted that people are just nutty. And so I always want to know why people would post something asking for some kind of, and clearly wanting agreement for them to modify the baby steps like that last person did. And so I don't know what goes on, and I don't know what goes in their head when they think, oh, okay, I'll do the $1,000 and then I'll put that $1,000 on debt. It doesn't say to do any of that. Oh, I'll save the $1,000. While I'm saving the $1,000, I'm also going to be investing, which is step 4. And so how people can do that, I don't know either. I don't know how a mind can have that process going on. But people have different processes in their minds. That's how that happens. Anyway, as a baby, step 6, soon to be 7, I'm just curious what flexibility or rigidity there is on topics. It's whatever the mods decide at any given moment. Next question. Dumb. I'm sorry to waste your time with that. I was going to say that's a waste of that person's time to post that, but apparently I felt like reading it and subjected you to that. I apologize. Stitches 73, paid off mortgage finally. Great. Moving all the stuff to storage. When you came pulling in here, did you happen to see the sign that said Diana Bauer's Storage? That's from Pulp Fiction. Stitches 73, paid off mortgage fully. So after following Dave's methods for 10 years, excellent. I paid off my mortgage. Excellent. As of 10 a.m. this morning, that was 4 days ago. Excellent. Congratulations. I bought my house on 2022 with a 30-year mortgage. Not advised. Paid off now. Can't go back and change it. Great. Single female. I wanted it paid off before I turned 60 this year. Great then. Well, after years of scrimping and couponing and saving and pinching pennies till they screamed, today it was paid. That's fabulous. That's 2012. And it's 2025, so that's only 13 years. So that's not bad. That's not bad, paying off early. And that is the thing, basically, if you don't have a 15-year mortgage, you would pay it off like it's a 15, and so you would send more principal every single month as long as you were on baby step 6. I don't know why I wanted to say babe 6. I don't know. So why am I not excited? Good. People react to different things differently. I have a very doomy, nervous feeling. Well, I mean, you could just be so used to the payment and having debt that you are having a problem processing. A lot of processing talk today. Processing, being completely debt free. Hopefully you don't have any other debts and you are on step 7. Like I'm going to die tomorrow or suddenly, you know what? If you are, you can't change it. But let's just say for argument's sake, you're not going to die tomorrow. Guess what? You have a paid off house. So you're going to live 10 more years. Guess what? You can live in that house for 10 years. So, you know, this is just pessimistic thinking right there. Suddenly the house will need major repairs. And some people, is this normal? I would think not. Generally, if you work that hard to do something to get that house paid off by the time you're 60 and you actually do it, why would you not be happy about that? So, I mean, and it could be something else. It could be something else in her life that is happening. Maybe boyfriend or husband passed or something like that, or bad breakup. I don't know. You know, just grasping at straws. It could be anything. And that's basically the problem behind the problem. I'm no John Deloney. He's got 2 PhDs, 2 more than me. And that's that John Deloney song also in that music playlist. And yeah, I would think it's not normal. I mean, you have some pessimistic people and they do follow the baby steps. And then when they get there, it can go either way. They could be uh, very happy about it, or they could start thinking about the bad things that can still happen because being on step 7 doesn't mean that everything's going to be 100% great the rest of your life. It just means that you are better off financially in order to deal with those things. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I would say, maybe counseling, if it's not just a temporary thing and you are constantly like that with everything else. No credit card debt, just a very manageable car payment. That's why, because you did it wrong. That's why, because you did it wrong by financing the car and by still having debt and paying the house off first instead of that, not following the baby steps. So after following Dave's methods for 10 years, you have done it Stitch's way. You've done it your own way. And so that's great that it's paid off, but you're doing it wrong. So can't go back and change that. But so what we can do is start with today. And that would be your only debt is a car. And so now you've never left baby step 2. And so you shouldn't have been doing anything, investing or paying off the mortgage early. You shouldn't have been doing any of that. But now that you have done that, the only thing you got left, you're on step 2. Congratulations. How about you start following Dave's methods now and you pay off that debt? And then if you don't have the full emergency fund, then you would do that after the debt. And then you would start investing if you haven't done that already. And you would pause investing until the dumb car is paid off. Weird. That one ended weird. It's just like, save that for the last thing. And so that, you never know when it's a troll, but that would be a troll move to like, just have you everything seeming fine and then saying, oh, but yeah, I just don't like it. And so that being thrown in there, that seems like that's a little bit too much for a troll job here, but leaving the credit card debt for the last sentence in it seems trolly to me, but who knows? Again, you can never count it out, because I'm sure somebody that's not trolling actually does pretty much everything that trolls say that they're doing in relationship to the baby steps. Hello, 401k loan versus student loans. Where should I focus my bonus? Any extra money you apply to whatever baby step you're on. And so you are on baby step 2. And so you would apply that. That says debt snowball. That means smallest to largest amount. And so you would put it on the smallest amount. And instead of just reading that, seeing the smallest to largest here on this version of it, on the Ramsey version of it, it says debt snowball, and you actually have to click learn more to find out that means smallest to largest. But you could easily have known that, but everybody thinks, oh, this is a bonus, so that means it's different than you would do with any other money. That's an error. It's not. So another 401k loan wasn't a great idea. Indeed. Understatement. So yeah, Edit, thanks for the input from the comments below. It appears the 401k loan is of greater importance. I will focus on that and pay it off within the year. Well, you do have to pay that off, but if you have, IRS would be first. That will fully be paid off within the next month. Okay, so doing that first, it sounds like. Smaller loans, the smaller one being around 2K with the student loans. So theoretically, you should be doing that one, but you also sometimes have a deadline before you to pay off that 401k loan. So it would depend on if you're required to do that faster, if you should be actually focusing on that. Otherwise, it would be the smallest debt, just like it says in baby step 2. And that, again, is for any available, any extra money that comes from anywhere. It doesn't matter what it comes from. It doesn't matter what you have, except IRS debt always goes to the front. Collections debt always gets pushed to the back, unless there's something that happens where you have X amount of money and the collectors are willing to settle for less for that amount of money at any time during baby step 2. You can do that. So yeah. On translator, what should I do? Crazy for you, da 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 da. Odd translator 7989, which I do. 21 years old, still a baby. Combined 15K between Roth and a mutual. Okay, people continue not to understand the Roth IRA account, or could be a Roth 401k or 401(k). The Roth signifies a type of account, not the investment. A mutual fund would be an investment that is inside the Roth account. 30K in crypto, not advised. I'm working on 2 of my own company startups while living at home. That means with parents. A clothing company, not advised by Mr. Ramsey. Likes adults to live on their own so they can deal with the world better instead of being sheltered by living with mommy and daddy. A clothing company that has generated 15K in revenue in 6 months. That's not that much. And a property management company. I've grown, but it's still in the infant stage. Dare I say, trying to do too much at the same time. Maybe concentrate on one business at a time. Very lucrative summer season from June to September because of where I live, and it is not uncommon to make upwards of $500 a day. Great. The 15K, not enough though in 6 months. Generally, I average around $350. I am expecting my parents to move within the next 3 years, and I would like to be able to stay where we live, but it's quite expensive. Yeah. And so maybe you should move out before that. Hey, guess what? Maybe you got to get a real job instead. Work for the man. You know, all of us. I would love to just do my side hustles and be able to live on that. Maybe once Social Security starts rolling in, that between that and side hustles, I'll be fine. We will see. But until then, got to work for the man. Where are we? Let's see. Next 2-3 years, we'd like to stay where I am, but it's expensive. Yeah, you don't get a pass on math. So you got to be able to be making enough money. You can't just be, oh, I was born here. You don't get to stay there just because you're being born there. And you can stay there, but you're not going to get a break on rent or mortgage payment. $300 a month rent living with them even. So I am in online school for a business degree and also taking my real estate course. All right, so very busy, it seems like, but you could probably make more money working for the man instead of doing at least 2. I would at least cut it down to 1. I would like advice from people who have been in my position. I haven't, not necessarily. Or some clarity on which route to double down on, as I feel I am spread a little thin. You think? That's exactly what I was saying. I would say do pros and cons on both of the businesses and then work on one the most. Now, if it's not going to make any more money, no matter how much time you put into it, then it's not viable. You got to have something that can grow from the income it is now. So, and I mean, and you can't live on a June to September thing of 500 daily. You can't live on that. So again, 15K in 6 months, not good enough. So do that pro con list and find one to do, or either just put both of them on the back burner and get a real job. But I mean, do online school for business degree and also taking my real estate course. Why are you doing 8,000 different things all at the same time? And of course, 30K in crypto, Mr. Ramsey is not advising that. So yeah, you're the one that chose to do all this stuff at the same time. Why are you doing that? Some people do feel pressure, especially the younger people, like youngs, like in this age area, 21 years old. They feel like they should have their life figured out already and everything in front of them. So that's why you want to do the business degree and get the real estate course happening, and also do two businesses, because I got to have all this in place right now. You do not. You have time. Trust me. Still a baby at 21. You got plenty of time to cut down on trying to do all these things at the same time. And unfortunately, you probably paid for it in advance, both of those the real estate course and the business degree. So you probably can't stop right in the middle of that. But if the business degree, you can take a year off of online school for that, or however long you need to. But the real estate course, you probably have to finish that, however long that is. What do we got? Pay off mortgage if you're on step 6. Yes. The baby steps tell you the answer to this question. Southie West Side. Okay, so not only Southie, but the west side of Southie. I'm selling one of my houses and will net $260,000. Remaining mortgage is $218K at 5%. I have $24K car note at 5%. $18K loan at 9% and $18K credit card debt roughly at 15%. Trying to figure out what to attack first. Did you even look at the baby steps? I was very determined to whack the mortgage for peace of mind, then snowball. Dumb. Have you glanced at the baby step? Pay off mortgage is on step 6. For peace of mind and snowball. I make $100,000 a year, and I'm 49. Also, my company has 15% off stocks in a few weeks, and I want to catch up with 7K for 2024 and 2025 with Fidelity. Discuss no investing until you are out of step 2 and 3. As I said, this can be answered completely with the baby steps. I mean, granted, you don't see this unless you go to this page and you scroll down, but you got to the Dave Ramsey subreddit somehow. You might have heard of the baby steps, and so if you would just read it, then it would answer this question. And in case you missed that, that's smallest to largest, paying off your non-mortgage debt. Paying off your mortgage is step 6, so that's a NAR on your little plan, if you'd like to follow the Ramsey advice. Awais 23. Every dollar for those who use the app. I'm wondering how to account for rollover funds. For example, There was an issue with my electric bill this month, so they won't be charging me until the next period. I don't have enough margin in my February budget to account both billing periods, but I will have the cash in my account from this month to cover it. Do I just resign myself to being over budget for the month, knowing I'm not in reality? Maybe. Or you can probably edit and change numbers around as you need to. What do you think, Sid, or any of you other guys? No, is working, slaving every day. Got to get a break from the same old, same old. What is that song, Sid? He's always working, slaving every day. Got to get a break from the same old, same old. What is that song, Sid? And also, do you know about that? How you would change that if the, what is it? They won't be charging you until the next period. Oh, okay. So there's an issue with it. So the next month it's going to be. So you would just carry that. You might have to. You just carry that amount over that wasn't spent from the previous month. I feel like I should know that song. Added from savings or refund power company income. Yep. Sid knows what's up with the every dollar. Former position 5894. Have money for kid college and maybe love paying the bill. What? Have money for kids' colleges and maybe love paying the bill. Okay, let's see. Not sure if this will inspire everybody. And probably there's one extra word on here. Oh, a couple, a little bit. Okay, not sure if this will inspire anyone. We'll see. I'm not gloating. It's a brag call, like they say in the Ramsey Show chat. But we followed Dave when we first married 22 years ago. That was a smart move, probably. We saved ESAs, and now our daughter goes to a really nice faith-based private college. Our son ended up going to college prep school. I'm cheap by nature, but surprisingly found that I enjoy sending the decent-sized checks. Yeah, because you're able to. Because you've been following Mr. Ramsey's advice. So you're able to do that with no problem. She had scholarships, so it's maybe 30% more than in-state tuition. But I'm grateful to Dave and to planning ahead and don't sweat the payments. And that financial peace is what that's called. In fact, they surprisingly make me kind of proud, grateful, happy. Yeah. That's the opposite of, oh, I have to pay for that. I mean, you don't have to help your kid with college, but you want to. So you're like, oh, I want to help my kid with college here, so get through college and I'll just pay for it. And then being able to actually do that instead of being in a situation where, oh, I want to do that, but instead I have a car payment, so I can't do that. We miss her, but the kids have been watching, and we look forward to seeing what they do with their talents. Yep. Unburdened with debts. Yes. Very lucky kids. Very nice. Thanks to my parents for always encouraging us to live better, live below our means, and work hard. Right. That's not a Ramsey thing. That has existed previously. And matter of fact, the whole thing, Dave says, not as much anymore, but still says God's and Grandma's way of doing things. Should I go to a Super Bowl? Real agent. Should I go to a Super Bowl? Hey everyone, I'm curious if I should do this. I make about $120,000 to $160,000 a year in sales, and I'm a huge Chiefs fan. And they'll probably win because they get all the calls from the referees. So, a fan, and been a fan since I was a kid. I'm considering getting me one ticket to the Super Bowl. Okay, it's about $6,000 for a bad ticket. I mean, that's a little chunk out of your world and try, if you're on step 7, if you want to spend that, and then you also have to get there as well, and 10,500 for I have about 60K in savings and maxed out my Roth IRA for several years in a row, and I'm relatively young. I'm really struggling to pull the trigger as it's such a high cost and I've always been so frugal. What do y'all think? Well, you would not take it out of your Roth IRA. So it would come out of the savings. If all that savings is your emergency fund, then you don't take it from there either. But beyond that, it just depends on what baby step you're on. Like whether you still have a mortgage payment and stuff like that. All that should be considered. But if you're in step 7, fine either way. That maybe you do that instead of go on vacation somewhere else. And so that's fine. If you're on a lower one, if you're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, that's a bit much. So I mean, probably might be close to 10,000 even if you get the $6,000 ticket, because you got to probably stay there somewhere there and pay for food, etc., etc. So it depends. If you're on step 2, that's a nar on that. Sorry. But as long as they still get all those calls from the refs, they should be going pretty much every year. So you can go later if you can't go now. Tight Kucher 34.4. How emergency fund completed, check, but I don't want to stop. You're not stopping, you're transferring to steps 4, 5, and 6 now. So to save more money other than the emergency fund, you're doing it wrong unless it's a sinking fund for a specific purpose. Like my go-to example on that is you got to buy tires every so often. Let's see. Had a huge HOA special assessment in 2023 that completely wiped out my emergency fund. What was the assessment? 30K. The same year I lost my job, that was roughly 5 months worth of expenses. I've been slowly building it back up. Not as gazelle intense as I would have liked, but life. Well, you could have done that and not let life interfere. A lot of people say, but life happened. And so you mean you had like medical emergencies and stuff like that you had to pay for? Or you just spent money on some things that weren't 100% necessary? So you got to be honest with yourself on that. And so you got to accept that you didn't do it fast enough. And so if you weren't worried about it enough to be gazelle back then why are you worried about it not being enough now? Illogical, Captain. That's 2 different ways of thinking about it, just depending on what side you're on. Now you're on the going forward side, but before but life, that's justifying the previous one where you weren't gazelle. Anyway, got a new job pretty quickly. Great. That's exactly what you should do. And with my bonus this year, I have just completed getting back to 5 months expenses now, 35K, okay? Except I don't want to stop. Recently got married and I bring in most of the household income with a rather large mortgage, only debt. It shouldn't be more than you can afford. So if it's more than you can afford, I understand you not being comfortable with the situation, and you should move down in house if you can't afford it. The answer to that is not to have extra emergency fund. The answer to that is to not have too much house, to not be house poor. With the job market being pretty brutal for my industry right now, go ahead and say, and in this economy too, all that's bull crap. I'm starting to get really nervous that 5 months may not cut it if I were to lose my job. Well, you're still building it. So you're not done building it, so you're not going to stop. But 6 months of expenses is enough. If you have another emergency, you'll be doing that. I mean, you said, why are you saying baby step 4 if you haven't gotten 6 months and you want to get 6 months? So you can do that, but you shouldn't do more than that. You need to be applying money to the other baby steps. Nobody told you. So yeah, definitely blame the job market being brutal for your industry, and whatever else you want to blame, instead of you having too much mortgage. Now, I don't know that it's too much mortgage for them. She did say, yeah, she did say she's married. So if combined income can't make that payment, if that payment's again more than, it doesn't change even though you are on baby step 6, even the would be on there immediately. The advice doesn't change for it to be considerably more than 25% of your take-home pay. And so especially if you had to get a 30-year mortgage, so the payments would be lower in order to afford it, then that was dumb of you guys to do that. And that is the problem. Let the problem be things that you can control, not things that out of your control, like the job market being pretty brutal in your industry, whether that's true or not, or if that's just you getting a front row seat at justification station. So yeah, you're not in an emergency situation unless there's a 51% of it happening, and it happening in 2023, this special assessment. So again, I don't know how that works, how you would need $30K to pay them, unless it was something like it was designated in a flood area and then you would need flood insurance, and maybe it was something like that. Because that did happen to me. And then shortly before we sold the house, they were like, "Oh, well, you're not in a flood zone anymore." Nothing happened. They didn't regrade it. They didn't add soil anywhere. They didn't, block any water as far as I know. So I don't know. I don't know what the dealio was with that. Maybe the rules changed as to what your elevation needed to be. That is possible. Need some affirmation, okay? Well, just because you need it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Not from Coach Steve. 9K student loan debt that's going to increase still in college. And no, that's a no. So what you would do is just pay minimums on that while you cash flow the rest of it. And otherwise you would take some time off and work. Or apply for scholarships and grants. And $370 credit card debt. Pay that off and then stop using dumb credit for anything. That's $370. That's nothing. You better be working in addition to going to college. The credit card debt is easily payable with my job. Then quit putting money on it then and use the money from your job to buy stuff. I'm not doubting that. I am. I don't trust you. As far as I could throw you. But I could throw this person a little bit probably. I've been trying to stay ahead of the curve with payments. Well, you are supposed to stay current with payments. You're not supposed to pay in advance, except you do pay more on the lowest student loan, but not if you're just going to have to turn around and get another loan for the next semester. I've been building up my snowball. I don't know. I don't think that's anything. Building up my snowball. I don't know what that means. Building up a snowball would mean you just making more and spending less. So if that's what you're doing, great. And I've done everything, sold my old games, Pokemon cards, etc. Fabulous. But now I'm burgeoning on selling stuff I've had since a kid. Yep. Was more sentimental stuff and pointless nostalgia. I know exactly. I have a ton of that stuff that I moved from house to house to house, and very little of it ever leaves the box that it's in, but I still have it. And so I am have been working on, since this last move, I've been working on getting rid of most of it. And less getting rid of it, but repurposing whatever funds I can get for it. And somebody else can enjoy it. Because that's I don't want my kids to have to deal with hoarder type situation if I die. Well, when I obviously will at some point. Not planning to be anytime soon though, so don't count on that. I know, but it still kills me that it got to this point. I guess I can just buy it again, right? Yeah, but the main thing here is you don't pay off a student loan to just take out another one for the next semester. You don't do that. You would just pay minimums on those, and you would save up for the next semester so you don't go further into debt. We're trying to lessen the debt, which might happen a little bit with minimum payments, but you are not doing that. And if you can't, with your job, if you can't pay for it, and then like as I said, grants and scholarships, then maybe you don't go to school. Sorry, loans are not going to be an okay thing for college. Sorry about that. Not really. That's just the way it is. Oh, did Sid ever tell me what song that was? Sid did not tell me what song that was. Di had to leave. Oh, am I gonna have to? It won't let me copy and paste it. All right, I'll check it after. Sid might have briefly left the chat. When she does that, she normally keeps it on for her pal Steve supporting me. Much appreciated. Everybody do that is what the short version of that is. Looking for advice on getting out of 14K negative equity. If this is on a car, okay. Hey everyone, I'm in a tough spot and looking for some advice. I currently owe about $58,000 on my 2024 Chevy Silverado. Hey, maybe you shouldn't have bought that. But based on offers from Carvana and CarMax, it's only worth $44,000 to $45,000. Okay, so what you want to do is do a little thing called checking the Kelley Blue Book value to a private, in a private sale. You not using a dealership, because guess what? Carvana and CarMax are not going to pay you as much generally because they want to make money on the deal. So leaving a dealer out of it is almost always better for both the buyer and seller of the vehicle. So check that and do a private sale, and maybe you won't need all 14K. But let's just, for argument's sake, it is 14K that you will be needing. Okay. In order to get rid of that $58,000 loan, Mr. Ramsey is fine with you taking out a $14,000 loan and putting that with the amount you get for selling it to pay off that loan, because you have reduced your debt by $44,000 by doing that. And so he's fine with you trading in a larger loan for a smaller loan. Let's see if there's any other problems here that we need to address with this. Props on the bolding, important things. Payment $1,100 a month. Why would you buy that? Why would you sign up for that? That is so dumb. I mean, I had a car payment, but my goodness, it was less than $300. So glad I don't do that anymore. Trying to think. So the last time I would have had debt would have been over 10 years ago. And the car debt was when I was 16, and my dad co-signed for me. Also dumb on both of our parts. A friend suggested rolling negative equity into a lease. No, that's more dumb crap. Or having to bring my payments down. I understand this means I'll still be paying for that negative equity, but I believe it could lower my monthly cost compared to what I'm doing now. That's a NAR again. NAR. I already feel stupid for getting into this situation. Good. Remember that always whenever you want to do dumb, stupid crap like this. So I'm trying to make the smartest move to get out of it without making things worse. Is rolling negative equity into a lease a good idea? No. You don't roll it into anything. Except you can roll the negative equity into a loan by itself while you get rid of $44,000 worth of debt in the process. Are there better options I should consider? Yeah, not doing any of the dumb things that you're thinking of and that a friend is suggesting, but doing the Ramsey advice and you sell the truck, which you shouldn't have bought anyway, and you get a $14,000 loan to cover the negative equity. And again, check Kelly Blue Book, private sale, and you could probably get more money with it and have to take out less than a $14,000 loan to get rid of that $58,000. How about we just get rid of the payments fully instead of trying to roll it in and then still be doing a lease? Leasing is not advised by Mr. Ramsey as well. You put what would Dave do flair on it? Maybe watch a little bit more of the Ramsey show, and then you know that leasing is a NAR. Just like whole life is a NAR. It doesn't matter that you just saw a TikTok like the guy did today, I call on the Ramsey show, about using, they use whole life and it's called infinity banking. Yeah, they make up new terms for it all the time. That's what TikTok is mainly for, is making up new terms for old things. Like, for example, the Ramsey envelope system is called cash stuffing now. Old Detroiter, the state up north. New car less than 1 year old auto loan. What about it? Hello. Hi, guys. I was in a car I loved, paid off, and she died. That will happen to vehicles. Now, that's a little bit different if you have a boat. You know, I know they're referred to as she, but do you got to call a car a she? I mean, I know you loved it. I admit I just don't get it because I'm not a car guy. So I'll just let that go. Except for what I've already pointed out about it. I did not have a lot of money saved, so I did the same thing that every dumb person would do and just jumped into debt. Here is the question: bought new car and signed up for a loan. How bad is it if I get something for a lot less and get out, sell to whoever I can, and either pay the difference? Or anyone else tried this? Also, not a kid will be 60s next month. Thanks in advance. Yeah, that's the same thing I said for the other person to do. Yes, you sell it and then you buy something in cash cheaper. Oh, let's see. Oh, thanks, by the way, everybody watching. What are we doing? A 2-hour show today? I guess so. Cesticles, all right. They say your first 100K is the hardest and most important. Does that include your home ownership? It depends. Like the 100K is you just making it and working for that money. Home ownership, that that's the whole idea of, well, you got to pay you got to pay to live somewhere anyway, regardless of if it's rent. But if you buy a house, then eventually that money stops. You got to fix whatever's wrong with the house, though, of course. But the home ownership, the house is most people's highest amount, at least at first, in their net worth. So it contributes to the net worth. And like the first $1 million net worth, as soon as you have $1 million net worth for most people, most of that $1 million in assets is the house. Let's see, I got far towards 100K, then bought a home. So saw huge reduction due to deposit fees and furniture. Yeah, well, you didn't have to buy that particular home. You could have bought something cheaper. What would you need a deposit on buying a house? Are you talking about down payment? Fees, yes. Furniture, you don't need to go crazy on furniture. I am wondering if that compound of the first 100K applies to if you have, say, 75K in your income and 25K in emergency fund and investments, or is it only 100K in investments? This is your situation here. Nobody's worried about this stuff other than you, to try to limit with your first 100K and then seeing how home ownership. You are the one in charge of this, so I don't know what your rules are. Currently at 15 EF, and don't try to compare yourself to somebody else. Just follow the baby steps and sacrifice as much as you can, and then you'll get done with the baby steps the fastest by sacrificing as much as you can. Currently 15K emergency fund, 6K in investments, 40K in equity on my flat. If it's a flat, it's not a house. Oh, a home, it says. All right. So yeah, not a house necessarily. Okay. Curious if I am 79K off the goal or 39K off. Reason I thought was because my mortgage is $40 more a month than my rental was, and I was tired of throwing. Okay, well, I mean, you can justify it to yourself however you want. You can think about it however you want as well. But as far as your net worth is going to be any assets, and so if you have equity of more than 100K, then that would be how you could compare it, or right at 100K. And so, but all this is your baby here, this exercise here, which I don't understand why you need to do that. That is a commercial right there, an ad. It says promoted. I want to be promoted. I know that song. Shaking up the beans and rice with beans and pasta. That is cool. Sid, what is the name of that song you did? He's always working slaving every day. Gotta get a break from the same old, same old. And I'm probably singing it wrong. What is that? Hey, we got more viewers in the last, coming up on the near the end of an hour, 2 hour show. Hieroglyphics, I get it, nice. How to balance saving, investing. Okay, investing is one type of saving versus spending. All right. This will probably take the rest of the time. I'm 25, still a baby. You got forever in the market still. I make $80,000 a year from my full-time job and around 25K a year from side hustles. Great. Lord loves a working man or working woman. I put 35% of my paycheck into my company 401K. No match. So that's a NAR on that. Unless you're in baby step 7, then you can invest whatever you want. But otherwise, it's going to be 15% of your take home, no, of your gross pay. So 35% is too much. So you want to put that money on other baby steps. Or if you would like to buy a house, you need a down payment for that. Let's see. No match in the 401k. Okay. I don't have any debt. I rent an apartment. I don't really have a desire to buy a house. Okay. As I plan on moving around and don't want to be locked into one place. Okay. Sounds like step 7 to me, maybe. Super into cars, and recently I've been eyeing a used BMW for around $40,000. With insurance being $200 a month additional. This would be a second car, so a toy, that I might sell my current one and turn into my daily. That you might. My real question is when do you know it's the right time to buy something fun like this? I know I can pay cash for it. That's the first part of it, yes. But I'm just torn. Nothing's fine. I'm torn because I know that can't make it fit. The opportunity cost of not having this money invested will amount to a lot. That's right. And for a toy, so it's up to you. Do the math and you see if it's worth it. But I already invest around 40% of my income. True. And that might be too much unless you're in step 7. Any advice on saving versus spending would be great. So 80K per Mr. Ramsey's advice, you would be limited to that used BMW. Assuming that you can buy it for that much and it's worth that much. So, because that's half of your annual income. And so you should only have half of your annual income amount invested. Excuse me. Invested in things, meaning buying it. And it's in a depreciating asset. So that cars depreciate too fast. So, where were we? Yeah, depreciation. So, you make 80K, you can have 40K in vehicles. And that sounds like that's only one. So that's going to be a NAR. 200 a month additional. That's up to you. That does sound like that's going to take more money away from you. And so, especially for a toy. And so I'm not a car person, so I can't relate at all. But I'm not doing this. There's nothing wrong with your car now. So that's the dealio on that. So the investing more, if you're on step 7, until you decide you want to buy a house, which that will be unfortunate because then all your money will be in a retirement account instead of having been saved. But you can start saving at any time and put yourself from step 7 back onto step 3B, which is where you save the down payment. So you don't get to keep both cars if you're going to follow the Ramsey advice. And a second car, again, is a toy. And none of this bull crap about, and I might sell my current one. No, you either do that or you're not buying it if you're following Mr. Ramsey's advice at making all of, and this goes for household as well. In a household, all of the cars that exist can be worth only 50% of annual income as well. So not just you. And that didn't take as long as I thought. That's what she said. Brian's Adventures, Maryland, Last Will and Testament from Ramsey. What? I get it. My wife and yeah, they do have a service on that, I think. That might be done through Mama Bear Legal Forums. I don't know. My wife and I are considering ordering the last will and testament that comes, excuse me, along with powers of attorney forms. Does anyone know if this is a legal document in Maryland? It would tell you when you fill out the information on there. And you can probably find out before even putting your information in if it's illegal in Maryland. So my coworkers have said no, and I need to see a local attorney, but I don't know for sure. I don't know either. So I'm sure you can find out. I did call one attorney, and they mentioned they were not familiar with this package. Yeah, but they can assure me these services are legal. Okay. That their services are legal. Okay. They mean the attorney that you called or the Ramsey thing is. And yeah, I would assume that would be done via some kind of law firm or Mama Bear Legal Forms, which they have recommended for a while now. Financial help, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Need help with financial situation. Alrighty. Don't need nothing but a good time. No, don't need nothing but a good time. Gotcha. You got me on that one. Need help with financial situation. Monthly income $6,500. Come on. Credit card debt. Number 1, current balance $1,000. Too many different percentages and crap. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change the advice at all. $486 car value. Oh, car value based on Kelley Blue Book 17. Sell the car. Monthly gas expenses $295. Man, where are you people driving to? I mean, I know gas is not cheap, but my goodness gracious me. Student loan, current balance, 9,600. 9,600, my bad. Monthly rent, 2,100. That's up there. Includes parking and trash and sewer, monthly utilities. And Peacock and Spotify, 200. Which is my strategy be to get rid of as much debt as possible, as fast as possible in the next 6 months when you sell the dumb car. And then that gets rid of almost $9,000 worth of debt. And you buy a beater with that. So car loan. Okay, just making sure it wasn't more than one car. Yeah, so you can sell that for $17,000. So do that. And that still gives you like $10K, and you can even get a decent other car for it cash. So yeah, didn't need to know all of the percentages and all the different amounts. Did not change the advice on that. Now, I mean, you wanted to do it fast as possible in the next 6 months. So it's not, if people love their cars and you want to sacrifice in other areas, keep the car. Fine with me, but you'd be probably less apt to make as fast progress on the baby steps, and then you might stop doing the baby steps, which would not be a good idea. All right, that's 2 hours. It's been fun. Goes by like this, doesn't it? Once more, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money is where you're watching this. Again, for my financial content, just scroll past the popular Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show, Aftershow show, and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlists there. And the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. And I am not just a guy on YouTube telling people that they're doing it wrong. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. How about that? And you, yes, you, if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. That link's in the ticker below, also in the video description. You can email me about coaching or anything else on my channel. Anything else on your mind is fine. coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, CashApp, $CoachSteveMoney. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams Monday through Friday until further notice. Monday through Friday, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the time the Ramsey Show leaves the YouTube, and then that's the time that I take over on the YouTube. 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.